Anybody hear me?
Yes, we hear you loud and clear.
Loud and clear.
Hi, Shmulek.
We have to be home to Lo Tere.
Right, Shmulek.
Yeah?
You got my brother-in-law?
Yeah.
Who he speak a little bit Yemenite in the beginning. I thought you would laugh. Unbelievable. That's a beautiful Divrei Torah. Baruch Hashem, Ishtabach Shemo. How's everybody? Good?
Baruch Hashem.
Yofi. You have to watch from the Shchorim to come to you next to your store.
It's dangerous.
Yeah. Today in Coney Island, they had like 100 bikes.
That was yesterday. The video that you saw, it was yesterday.
Oh, my wife showed it to me today. Oh, it was yesterday. Okay. How do you know everything?
Where is David to say the Yom Yom?
Huh?
Where is David to say the Yom Yom?
You.
His last name is Be'eri. Be'eri. B-E-E-R-I.
What?
Shlomo Yehuda Be'eri.
Oh. Shmulek. Shmulek?
Yeah,
hello? Shmulek?
Yeah?
Did you hear about the Yenuka in Israel?
What's the Yenuka?
Yenuka, it's for the Kabbalah, it's big Talmid Chacham. So they have a guy, he's about 40 years old.
32.
Yeah.
How old? 32, I'm sorry.
32.
And he knows the whole Torah inside out, and million people go to watch him. If you want, we give you his link. You can watch his Divrei Torah. It's unbelievable. He's young, and he didn't want people to know about him. But in the past few years, people start knowing about him. And they bother him.
Three times a year.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
I know my son-in-law in Israel, in Efrat, Jerry, the one from Just One Chesed, he went to hear him, and his rabbi, very good friend with the Yenuka. They have it in the Mishpacha magazine from this week. They have a whole article with pictures about him.
What does he do?
Sit down and learn Torah the whole day. And he doesn't want people to come to bother him. But they bother him. He gives Torah, Rabbanim, that older than him, 60, 70, big Rabbanim, they come to hear him.
He play also.
He what?
I heard he plays music. He plays the keyboard.
Right, he plays also keyboard. He make music.
What does he play? Rock?
If you like, he can play rock.
I don't know.
But if you want, my wife will give you the link where to watch. You can watch him talking there, and you see like in 770 when the Rabbi used to speak, was full of people. You see all the hats.
I saw the pictures.
Party. I think he's Yemenite or Syrian. But he speaks unbelievable. It's something new. It's just in the past year. That till now he was in star. He didn't want people to know about him, but people start knowing and telling people.
This is like Amnon Yitzchak.
No, it's a different style. He doesn't like to talk. He doesn't like to show off. He doesn't like to tell people that I know everything. That test me. But he knows everything, and the Rabbanim from all over the world coming to hear him. Can imagine, big rabbi. He doesn't need him, but he comes to hear him.
Oh,
What?
the Rabbi is here, Baruch Hashem.
Baruch. Okay. Remember the name, Yenuka.
Good evening, Rabbi Marsov.
Good evening. Shalom Aleichem, everyone.
Shalom,
Hi,
Rabbi.
Rabbi Marsov. How are you?
Baruch Hashem, how are you?
After
Mazel
the
tov
haircut,
for the Abshernish.
beautiful.
Rabbi,
Mazel tov for the Abshernish.
Rabbi, can I make a plea tonight?
Sure.
Yes. Made this Shira Bifa, the first Shlema of Yaakov Yisrael ben Chaviva, in extreme critical condition with COVID.
Shavadafu Shleima. I also want to mention tonight that there is a lady in the shul that davens, an elderly woman, Mrs. Cantor, and she asked that we should have in mind today was her husband's yahrzeit, Meir ben Shmuel.
Amen. And by the way, Pinchas, I read in the past 5 days, I read 4 times the whole book of Tehillim for Yaakov ben Chaviva.
Zaknatz.
Shavadafu Shleima.
Yeah,
Amen.
Mrs. Cantor usually Makint was a Charles shouldn't when we're fully functioning. This year she can obviously, but
So recently we have done the Tefillah thing in the beginning of the Tuesday night shir, and we'll continue with it. We're in the Birchas Karishma in the second bracha of Shema. V'ho'ed eineinu b'sohi yosecha v'dabek libeinu b'mitzvaysecha oy v'yached levaveinu leyachva Hashemecha. I know it's not a Chabad Nigim, but it really has a catchy tune. V'ho'ed eineinu b'sohi yosecha. That always wants
song.
to have a little Shlomo Kalbach in Beis Menachem Mendel, and we have some Shlomo Kalbach. Where is he?
It's a Zioni song.
V'davek liveinu b'mitzvaysecha
v'yached levaveinu
le'ol yiro Hashemecha v'lo
nebosh v'lo nikalev v'lo nikashel le'olam va'ed.
So every word has a translation, and I think we'll do it next week. We'll just run through it with the. But when we say v'yached levavenu, what does it mean? V'yached levavenu, la'ahava u'liyida shemecha. What does it mean? V'yached levavenu. Hey, Alex, shalom aleichem. Where
Hello.
are you now?
We're in transit. We're 3 hours away.
Wow. Great. Go in good health and come in good health. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm not leaving, I'm still here spiritually.
We see you're here. Thank you.
the Hayam Yom Chassid never leaves.
Exactly. And not only Chassid doesn't leave, it says that a person should never say goodbye to his friend unless he's going to say a dvar halacha. This way they'll remember each other. And the Chassidus says, because when they learn something in the Torah together, Torah is eternal. So their bond stays eternal. So you're on the road and we're learning Torah together. So this way the bond stays eternal.
Amen.
Okay. So what does it mean? V'yached levavenu la'ava liyida shmecha. What does it mean? What does it just mean? What is the translation of the word v'yached levavenu? I mean, a loose translation would be cause our heart to be filled with la'ava liyida, to be filled with love and awe of Hashem. Cause our heart to be filled with love and awe. What does it mean v'yached? What does the word v'yached mean? How does the word v'yached fall in here? A terrific mimer from the Frierdiker Rebbe said here in the United States of America. So first let's turn to the Hayom Yom. The Hayom Yom says in Yud Elul that the Chassidim, when they went into Yechidus, they said that the word Yechidus, what does it mean to have Yechidus with the Rebbe? So Yechidus with the Rebbe means 3 things. Yechidus, they said in Yiddish, means klor, Abgestellt and vereinzigt. Klar means clear. Abgestellt means established. And vereinzigt means to unite. And the Rebbe that Iyun brings a proof in Divrei Chazal for every one of these three. So let's take it one at a time.
Today Iyun Yom Stav, the Rabbi knows I can answer to somebody if somebody came into Chidus.
Yeah. Shkach. So Taka, as a shaykhis with this union of Yechidus, with today's Yom Yom. So back to the Yom Yom and Yudel. Yichud meaning to unite. So we understand, like Chas and Kala go into a cheder, Yichud, where they will unite. The two people will unite as one. That's the cheder Yichud. Okay, we understand. There's a second thing that Yichud means. The word Yichud means kvius, abgestellt. What does that mean, kvius? For example, the din is in Pesach. In Hilchas Pesach, it's in Yevamas Af Samach Beis, and other places. And the din is that if someone gives me a loaf of bread and I keep it in my house, I'm over on Pesach Bal Yero Bal Yamatzah. It's not allowed to be in my possession. But im yiched lo imokem, if I was miyached, I said, in the corner in the dining room is your room. So then I'm not over. Because you're not allowed to have in your possession your own, but it's not my possession. It's not my possession. It's his possession. Because I gave him, I was miyached, I'm mocking for him in my house. So it's not my house. It is his house. So over here, when we say yichid loy mokim, a lot of places in Chazal, when you learn Choshe Mishpat, you're learning now that Rambam, there's constantly this term comes up. Yichid loy mokim. Yichud means that doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're calling your friend into your house to have yechidus with him. We're not talking about some apsareh b'shazach. We're talking about you're giving him a specific place that he has in your house that he could call his own. Yichud loy mokim. So according to this, the word yichud, yached, means to be koiveya, abgestellt, to establish, to give him a special place. The third pshat of yichud means klor, to make clear. How does that word yichud? The Gemara says in Shkolim, it's a Perek Vav Mishnah Beis, that once does Maisa bekoin echet shehoya mesasek b'malachtoi, that there was a kohen that his job was to clean the wood, to take out the worms of the wood. Because any wood that had worms was possible to use in the Beis HaMikdash for the Mizbeach. So he was sitting and he was working diligently and he noticed something. He noticed something, that sitting for hours in the same place, day after day, he noticed that there was in the ground, which in the Beis HaMikdash was made out of rock. He noticed a tiny discrepancy in the rocks. The rocks were all laid out nicely and flat, and he saw one rock was moved. And he understood that there was something there. So he went to tell his friend, and before he can get a chance to point out exactly the spot in the Beis HaMikdash that he noticed that the ground was not so flat, he passed away. And they knew with certainty that that was the place where the Aron was hidden. And that's why that was a secret door. And that's why the rock was a little moved out of place when it was returned. You know how if you take, if you do some construction and then you need a chavez, you have to fix something, you have to fix a pipe or something, and you pick up a couple of planks of wood or tiles, and you fix the plumbing, you put it back, that mokim is in, and it's not going to be even Steven Mamish B'Shava with the other places. Let's try as hard as you try. And that's what happened here. So he knew that this was something. What does it mean? V'yodu b'yichud means v'birur. They had clarity that that was the place where the Aron was hidden. So, and the word v'yachid could mean three things. It could mean to unite two things. It means to be miyachid mokam lachaveiroi, to give you ownership. to be koivei amakim, and also could mean yichud means to mean clarity. So let's go through all three in Avodas Hashem, and what does it mean here in the Birchas Krishma that we ask that the Rabbanu Shalom should grant us not just Ava v'Yira, not only our heart should be filled with love and awe, but it should be in a way of v'yachid levavenu. One pshat is to connect two things. Who are the two things? Simple. There's the Yetzer Tov and the Yetzer Hara. There's Nefesh Halakis and there's Nefesh Bahamis. There is the Leiv Chacham Liyamina and the Leiv Kasiyah Lismailai. So we want not only the Avas Hashem should be in the right ventricle of the heart, but it should also be in the left ventricle of the heart. Not only it should be by the Yetzer Tov, also by the Yetzer Hara. There could be two ways that the Yetzer Hara, that the left part ventricle of the heart gets filled with Avas Hashem. There is a Yid that's, I'm not sure if he's on right now with us at the Shir, but there's a Yid that joins us sometimes to the Shir. That it's like, it's unbelievable. He's a Yid that's a Choshev Yid here in the community. But in the 60s, he knew nothing about Yiddishkeit, zero. And he picked up a copy of the Village Voice, and he saw a picture of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And in the bottom, there was the address, 770 Eastern Parkway, Brooklyn, New York. So he found out that you take the 3 train and you get off at Kingston Avenue, and that's how you get to 770 Eastern Parkway. He went. He was so drawn to the picture, he wanted to see the man. And when he came, it was his mazel. It was the middle of a Fabrengen. And he was mesmerized by the Fabrengen. He was drawn into the Fabrengen. After the Fabrengen, people were leaving, and Herschel Bachman, all of Hashalom, bumped into him, and he realized that this was a fish that was ripe for the catching. And he hooked the fish in, and Baruch Hashem, the Sid is a very choshev Eid. As I said, he comes to our shiurim. If he's now on the shiur, I'm not sure, but he's from the choshev Eid here in Flatbush. You know, anyone that remembers a Simchas Torah in 770, it would be very hard to not get caught into the atmosphere and the kedusha that was going on in Simchas Torah. There were people that were secular, totally secular people. You know that the Rebbe took great pleasure in the fact that the Israeli consulate would come, all the people and the consulate would come, dignitaries, the Israelis would come. And the Rebbe wanted that they should mechabed them with Sifrei Torah. There was an interview on the Gem video of one of the leaders of the left-wing party. At that time, he was sort of the leader. Now he's got himself a cushy job in the Jewish Agency. Chaim Herzog, who had a very choshev zayda, and his father was the Israeli ambassador to the UN. And he was a child at that time, and he describes how the kedusha filled everyone's heart. How it was impossible to not get drawn into the excitement of dancing at Simchas Torah. But there's a difference between Chaim Herzog going home and our friend that joins our shiurim when he went home. Because Chaim Herzog went home, he didn't necessarily become a chassid. But at the time, he was drawn into it. There is such a thing that the Nefesh Elokis is so on fire that the Nefesh Bahamis is drawn. He doesn't know why, he doesn't know what, but he's drawn into it. But when the excitement dies down, the Nefesh Bahamis is back to Nefesh Bahamis. He wants indulgent taivas, not interested in holiness. But there is a second way, which is v'yached levavenu. That not only that the Nefesh Bahamis is drawn after the Nefesh Elokis, it spills over from Nefesh Elokis and Nefesh Bahamis, but that the person actually works with the Nefesh HaBahamis. Knelt, as they say in Yiddish. Knelt. He talks and has heart-to-heart conversation with the Nefesh HaBahamis, and he explains to him that the Eibishter is Lavas Hashem Alekecha, Ki Hu Chayecha, Kirvas Alekim Li Toiv. The Eibishter is the source of all life, and the Eibishter is the source of all sweetness. Ki Lekech Toiv Neisati Lachem. The Eibishter is the Lekech Toiv, and the Torah is the Lekech Toiv. Until the Nefesh HaBahamis himself feels that Kirvas Alekim Li Toiv. Tamuru Ki Toiv Hashem. He feels the greatness in Elokus. And that's what we ask, V'yached levavenu, that the Avos Nida should not only be in the right ventricle of the heart, but also in the left ventricle of the heart, also by the Nefesh HaBahamis. Then there's a second pshat in V'yached. V'yached is like Yichid lo yimakim, Koivei amakim, Akviyus makim. What does that mean? It means that the Eibishter could be a oirach in our house, or we could have a kviyas makim. The Eibishter could have a makim in our house. He's not just a oirach in our house, he's a balabais in the house. What's the difference of a oirach and a balabais? A oirach is secondary in the house. A balabas is a balabas. There's a balabas. In general Chassidus, there's this concept of two outlooks in life. There is Elikus b'pshittas v'oilamas b'yischatshus, or the opposite. Oilamas b'pshittas v'elikus b'yischatshus. There could be two attitudes in life. One is the oilamas b'pshittus, that there is a world, there is a table, there is a chair, there is four corners of the world. Pshittus. Elikus, there's godliness. Ooh, Sinaias, something new. Haven't seen it, haven't heard of it, can't smell it. Tell me all about it. Elikus is b'pshittis. I could touch it and I could sense it with one of my five senses. Elikus, schachus. It could be the opposite. It could be a person. Elikus is b'pshittus. That's chai v'kayam la'ad olol me'elamim. Oilamus. Today it's here, tomorrow it's not. It's mehechi teisi. What's real? What difference does it make? There can be many differences. There could be many differences. There was once a Fabrengen Tovshin Chavov, a Sikha of Chag HaShavus from the Rebbe. I remember that this is such a Geschmack Sikha. I remember learning the Sikha. I mean, I wasn't there by the Sikha Tovshin Chavov, but I remember learning the Sikha and living it. And then someone printed a book, and then they found out the person who it was a Rav Rottenberg, who was a Choshev Rav in Paris. The Rebbe said that he was very close to him. He once came to speak to him and learning. And he come in a Bible, and she had a shaila. She brought a chicken, and she had a shaila, is it kosher or not kosher? And the Rav cooked, and he says, Azoy, according to the Shach, this din is Azoy. Kosher, not kosher. But the Taz kriegt sich. The Taz says not. And he thinks, but there's another shita. And he starts analyzing all the three shittas. The lady loses her patience, and she says, Rebbe, can ich reinlegen der Hahn in top oder nicht? Rebbe, can I put the chicken in the pot or not? Don't tell me stories with the Shach and the Taz and the Beit HaGoylo. Tell me, can I put the chicken in the pot? Is it kosher or is it not kosher? I mean, there's different stories similar to this. They say about Reb Chaim Brisker, the first time he got a shaila, story with the Kurkovan. Anyway, what was the Rebbe's point? The Rebbe said that we see there's two people, and they're talking about the same chicken and the same question, but they're totally in a different universe. They're both in a different universe, completely in a different universe. In the universe of the woman, what's for dinner? A chicken in every pot. A chicken in every pot. She's trying to make dinner for her family. She has no time to hear a story with the Taz and the Shach and the Beit HaGoyla. Rebbe, mekenlegen the mekenlegen the Hindel in top, or the nit. In her world, there is chicken. There is dinner. The chicken is dinner. In the Rav's world, ooh, this is the chamoyde thing. You can learn the Shach and the Taz. If it is no nafkamina and alocha, then what's the whole Shach and Taz worth? The whole thing is that the machloikas and lumdus between the Shach and Taz has a nafkamina. And here, finally, there's a nafkamina. There's this exactly is it. This is the chicken. So, supper. The halacha shaila here, that's alive in the Rav's eyes. The chicken, okay, secondary, okay, that's also mechitaisi. The chicken is also here for supper. The woman that asked the shaila is fakert. In her universe, the chicken, that's for dinner. What's for dinner? Chicken. Kashrus, well, we have a problem, so we have to go ask the Rav. But don't waste my time at Ebbe. Ich kann einlegen the hand in top of the knit. So there is a person in life that the elikus is bipshittus. The oilam is nayazach. Who says there is an oilam? And there is a person the other way around. What nafkamina would there be? There could be a simple nafkamina. A person is starving, and you give him something with a hechsher, very questionable hechsher. Never heard of it. A very funny symbol. You know, lately all the products in New York are kosher. You know that? You know there's a K in every one of them. Bencha, you notice that K? So the person's eating, is starving, and he wants to eat something, and he finds something with a K and a funny squiggle next to the K. So he doesn't know.
The OR.
Yeah, he doesn't exactly.
Travel.
He doesn't know if this squiggle is ethical treatment for animals. Is it the Reform Rabbanit, or is it a new company that which has a good hechsher? In the meantime, he's starving. He's starving. So the shaila is like this: should he eat it because he's starving, or 1 second? There's the Rotzna Kodesh Baruch Hu that the person should eat something that's kosher betachlis. And a person has to figure out, is it kosher betachlis, is it not kosher betachlis? It's a venzach. If Mitzias is bipshitus, he has to eat, he's starving. Elikus is bischachus. Okay, so it's kosher. This product maybe doesn't need the best texture. He's starving, so he might eat it. But if the pshat is that Elikus is bipshitus, what is alive? What's pashut? What's taken for granted? What's real? What's reality? Reality is elikus. So, oibazoi, he's not going to eat it. There's a Choshev Lubavitch Chosid, whose name was Reb Shoel Ber Zislan. He was from the Talmidim and Chetmim Lubavitch. He was later a Rav in Tel Aviv. There was once a beautiful story I told you from my grandfather. Maybe even my grandfather said it when he was here, from Reb Shoel Ber Zislan. Anyway, he was a very Choshev Chosid and a Talmid Chochem. So he told the following story. He said, not a story, but he said to bring out what is the difference between if a Metzias is bepshitus or a Lakus is bepshitus. So he said there was a Magid. So there was a Magid, come in Shavuos Zeit, and he had his best droshes about Shavuos, and he was telling stories about Rabbi Yosef, Ilav Hayomed the Kagodim, Kama Yosef Ike Beshuka, Gewaldik. He had his best droshes on Shavuos. He loved to do his speaking tours around Shavuos. And they had a whole pshat, the Torah is min hashamayim. What do you mean? Shorish Nogach is apart. Why how's that min hashamayim? What does it have to do with the Shamayim? And then he brought many Mamor Chazal, and he showed and he explained what does it mean that Torah is min hashamayim. Said Reb Shoel Ber. On the other hand, if you learn the Chassidus of the Alter Rebbe, the Maimonim of Shavuos, the Alter Rebbe explains Torah min hashamayim. Shamayim is Eish Shamayim. Eish Shamayim is Eish is Gevura, Mayim is Chesed. Torah comes from the Midas of Atzilus. Frag the Alter Rebbe, Torah min hashamayim. Torah the Chachmas Shalom Kadosh Baruch Hu, much higher than the Midas. Akasha. The Alter Rebbe answers, no, that really the Shorish of the Midas is from a very deep place, like Isaiah says, Zo ba'atiket ta'achid v'talya. So said Reb Shoel Ber, if you think about this, then this Maggid and the Alter Rebbe come from opposite perspectives. In the Maggid's world, there was a world. There's a Shoir, there's a Pore, there's Shnei and Batalas. And the Torah is coming to settle disputes. It's very geschmack. There's a Ksois and a Nesivus. What does it do with Hashamayim? What's Hashamayim? What's it do with Shamayim? Where's the Shamayim? Look, the Metzias and Oilimus is Bipshitus, but the Lakus is Bischachus. So he has a pilpul to show and to prove that it's a reality too. And the Alter Rebbe in his world, the Lakus is Bipshitus. For sure, it's Torah min hashamayim. How Chalila would you say otherwise? But how could you say, Frek the Alter Rebbe, what's bothering him is that Torah comes from Eish Shamayim, the Midas of Atzilus, L'chayre, it's Chachamash HaKadosh Baruch Hu, much higher. So this is the bakosha that we have, that we're asking from the Eibishter, that the Eibishter shouldn't only be like a guest by us, that Lakus by us should be Beischachus, that we should feel that the Iker of the world is a Lakus, the Eibishter is the Balabas, we're the Orchim. And the Eibush is the Balabas. The Eibush gives us to eat and to drink and gives us health. And Mamela, it goes without saying that we have to establish our life the way the Balabas wants us to establish our life. So that's the pshat. V'yachid levavenu, we should be miyachid mokim for the Eibush there in our heart. There should be a kvius. The Eibush should be kavua. It should be a lakus bepshitus in our heart. And that's what we're asking, that the Ava V'Yida should be by us in the way of Pshitus. Gavorcha Reb Shoel Ziskin told the story like this. There was Mashpia Reb Shmuel Bremen Lubavitch. Bakriyas HaTorah, he was looking in a little chumash and he was made sure to follow as the Balkoida was reading. And when they were in the parshas of Bolok, he shows Shoel Ber, he says, you see, it says, V'kom shevet b'Yisrael mochatz pasei moyev. Yisrael is Yisrael Bashem. V'kom shevet Yisrael is the Alter Rebbe. Mochatz pasei moyev is Av a Chochma of Klipa, and he's going to wipe out the Chochma of Klipa. Because the truth is, the Alter Rebbe's Torah wipes away Chochma and the Klipa. Chochma and the Klipa is the whole idea of Chochma and Klipa is that the world is a reality. Godliness is something new. The Alter Rebbe establishes that the opposite is true. Reality is godliness, and the world is something new. What's the third pshat in V'yachid levavenu? The third pshat in V'yachid levavenu is the union of Yachid is to clarify. You'd like to start with the coin. Yod b'yichud, to make it clear, to make it pure. Like there's a concept of yichud is like boider. What does it mean, boider? Oichel mit the psilos with the oichel. You make it clean. You take out the rocks. You take out the dust. Boider. The Mishnah says there's avash etlu b'davar, avash einav etlu b'davar. You could be two people have a relationship of love. Because Reuven has a chorus to Toiv to Shimon who helped him. He helped him find a job. He helped him find a shidduch. Shimon was his shadch, and he forever feels indebted to him. This ava is not a pure ava. It's true, it's menschlichkeit to have a chorus Toiv to someone. But betela dava, betela ava. It is dependent on something. It's not the purest ava. Reuven has a kodesh atayv to Shimon for helping him find a job. Reuven has a kodesh atayv to Shimon because he found him a shidduch. He was a shatchen or so on. He did him a favor. That's bottle dover, bottle ava. It's not a clean ava. It's not a pure ava. It's ava that's taluya bedover. Obviously, there's a lower level of ava, which is a negative ava. A person doesn't like anything but himself. Like a kid say when we eat, the king liked the fish. The king doesn't like the fish. The king likes himself. So he wants to indulge in the fish. The king doesn't like the fish. If he liked the fish, he wouldn't catch the fish. He would let the fish stay in the ocean. There is, in politics, a person wants to advance. So Memela, he helps you scratch my back and I'll scratch your back. He doesn't, not the pshat, he has any love or any affection or anything for the other person. He sees only his own interests, and he sees the other person as a conduit to advance his own interests. That's called politics. That's politicians. That's not called ava. That's not called love altogether. That's just plain old politics. That's not called ava at all. That's not in the ballgame. What we're talking about, Reuven and Shimon, is that Reuven likes Shimon. They're good friends. Shimon had helped Reuven over the years. But still, it's not pure ava because there is tolu bedavar. There's something. And then there is ava she'ena tolu bedavar, like the Mishnah says, the ava of David and Yonasan. Yonasan got nothing from David. And he loved him. Unbelievable love. And it wasn't tolu bedavar. And therefore, they helped each other as much as possible to the last drop of blood. Just like you have in ava, there could be ava shetli b'davein, tli b'davein. Same thing in yida, you could have this. A person could be scared, in awe, not scared, awe of the king, because he sees the palace and he comes down. He comes to Buckingham Palace. He comes to with the class. A kid comes to this class, a graduation trip at 12th grade, and they come to Washington D.C. and he sees the whole fanem of the White House and a Pennsylvania Avenue. And then he sees the motorcade, the president, with the whole hoopla, the whole tumult. So, because he knows that this melech and this world leader is making decisions for him, and so the decisions this president or this world leader makes affects me. So, Mamela, I'm in awe of this person. If it's the head of state of another country, I couldn't care less, because he doesn't establish any policies that affect me. But this world leader, his policies affect me and my family. So therefore, when I see him, especially with the whole hoopla, the whole tumult, therefore I feel awe. So really, again, this is not real. I'm looking at myself. Because it's connected to me. It's not Yida Tahoira. It's not pure Yida. Yida is a tzaddik. Tzaddik, when a Yid has unbelievable respect and reverence for a tzaddik, it has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with anything. It's just because of the avoid of the tzaddik. Again, here in Yida, there could also be a Yida that a person is scared from a policeman. When a person is scared of the policeman, it's not like the king. It's a pasha myself. I don't want to get a ticket. I don't want to hop another ticket and get another few points on my license, and then my insurance will go up by a few $100s a year. It has nothing to do with the policeman. It's to do with my bank account. For myself or my family. And I always, the police could give me a ticket. So the yid is not for the policeman. I'm seeing nothing but myself. It's not when there is awe for a world leader and because I'm in his country and his policies affect me, so I have awe of him. Elamai, it's not a pure awe. It's not really pure awe of him. Because I'm in that country, his policies affect me. So therefore, he's meaningful to me. Shenkin a tzaddik is pashut because the avodas Hashem of a tzaddik is awesome, and therefore nothing to do with what I receive or don't receive a tzaddik. Therefore, I have yid of the tzaddik.
I think in English it's called I respect uniform. I don't respect you.
Exactly.
No?
Really, it's not this respect or pachad that a person has in the police is not the police. It's himself. And that's what we're not talking about. That's not called Ava and that's not called Yida. But within Ava and in Yida, there could be a lower level, which is impure, and then it could be pure. Yes, Alicia.
There's an old saying, if the people had as much fear of Hashem as they have of the humans, they'd be better off.
Exactly, like Alicia, you're on it. That's good, exactly.
It's the truth.
It's,
because the people have so much fear of the humans that they don't see Hashem when we know He's there. We all have to improve, including me. A long way to go. But we have such a fear of the humans. I met one time a politician, I won't say his name. I held him in such a high madrega, exactly what you said earlier, because he was a politician. Little did I realize later he'd be all over the news for all kinds of scandalous things. But at that time that Lubavitch held that event, he came out of the car, he had his people with him, I took pictures with him. I felt like it was such an honor for me to photograph myself with him. Then little did I realize all the stuff he was involved with that was out in the news. It was just horrific.
Right, yeah. But it's good that you got that picture with Rami Cohen. That was worthwhile.
The Rami Cohen was immense. If it wasn't for Lubavitch, I would have never met him and gotten his book autographed to me and taken 2 wonderful pictures. I love that man. He was full of energy and love.
Yeah.
We hope he'll come back soon with all the other loved ones that have been deceased.
But your mother, Emetz Hashem.
Amen. And soon, right now, I'm ready to start packing.
Amen. Yes. So back to what we're learning. So let's wrap it up. So there is Ava and Yida, which is pure and not pure. Same thing in Hashem. There is Ava in general when a person thinks about the Eibush that runs the world, Mamalik Kol Almin. So there's Ava and there's also Yida. There's love and there's awe. But that's because I see myself in the picture, because the Eibush Lavas Hashem Kecha This is my life. That's not the purest Ava. That's not the purest Yida. We're talking about the top of Avas Hashem Yidashim, the Alter Rebbe always tries to impress on us in L'Kutei Torah. It's just from Soviv Kol Almin, which is the truth of the Eibishter, which is not contracted as a little bit of chayas in the way of his chalkos and his lapshos into the world. And in that level, which is Kula Kamei Keloi Choshev, that the world is nothing and he's not preoccupied in the world. So the Ava and Yida, the love and awe that a Yid has there is awesome. It's not, he doesn't see himself in the picture. He himself is. So the upshot is because of this higher level of Ava Yida, he'll have absolute Mesiras Nefesh. Obviously, when it comes down to it, a Yid will have Mesiras Nefesh anyway, for Kiddush Hashem, because the Neshama won't let it do otherwise. But where it isn't something which is clear that a Yid is obligated to have Mesiras Nefesh, and absolute dedication. If his Ava and Yida is Tluya B'Dav, but the Ava, if his Ava is like, it's not so pure. We're asking that our Ava V'Yida to the Eibishter should be V'Yached, should be V'Yoda B'Yichud, that it should be klor, it should be clear, it should be see-through, it should be absolutely no additives and preservatives to it, nothing. It should be pure Ava V'Yida that comes from knowing the truth of the Eibush the way it's in Sefer Kol Almin. This is where the Friedrich explains the 3 pshatim and V'Yached Levaveinu La'ahava L'Yira Shmech. And based on this, he also answers a simple question. What's the pshat La'ahava L'Yira Shmecha? Why are we saying first Ava and then Yira? Usually it's the other way around, like it says in Tanya. And they avoid the is Yira and then Ava. So the answer, because as we know that there's 2 levels in Ava and 2 levels in Yira. The way it works is it says El Daptoilus Yitzchak ben Avram Hoildus Yitzchak. The first comes Yitzchak, which is Yira, and then comes Avraham, which is Ava, and then the higher level of Avram, which is Ava Zuta and Ava Rabba, and then the highest level of Hashem is Yitzchak, which is Yirei Lot. It goes Yira Tata, Ava Rabba, Ava Zuta, Ava Rabba, and then Yirei Lot. So we hear what we're talking about. V'Yached Levaveinu, the pure Ava v'yida, the higher level of Ava v'yida. So then it's first Ava and then Yida, because Yida Ilah is the highest level. Ain't no beside us, Echa, Bedahabek Libeino, Bemitzvah, Yached, Levo, Hava Uli Yidos, Neva,
When we said a person is koveit in materia, what shot is then?
Yeah, it has to be Kovea, Kvius.
So which level is this kovea? Koveit in materia. Echad shachis echad erev.
Exactly, like V'yachid, the middle shot of V'yachid, Kovea.
Now I'm eating.
Enjoy it. Bon appetit. There is a beautiful Kfar Chabad magazine had a beautiful edition in honor of Rabbi Groner. Rabbi Groner. Actually, I spoke to his son today, Migdal Emek, and he was telling me that my shver has a lot of stories from his father, but I didn't realize. He said, your shver, my father-in-law was sort of, Rabbi Groner took him under his wing when he came to Lubavitch. He used to eat in his home every Shabbos. And my father-in-law got him to tell every week at least 2 stories, fresh stories that happened that week from the Rebbe. My father-in-law had, for a time in the basement, he had boxes and boxes of papers that he wrote as a bocher, stories that I heard from Rabbi Groner. Anyway, unbelievable story that Rabbi Groner told. He said that came to Ayid from Anash. He came to Yechidus. I forgot what it was. Say it was a knee replacement or something like that. I think maybe it was a knee replacement, surgery. And he asked a bracha that it should be successful, and an eitzah if the doctor, the surgeon, is the right surgeon. So the Rebbe asked, why are you asking for a bracha for the surgery? Why don't you ask a bracha that you should not need a surgery? He said, I'm asking for a bracha that I shouldn't need the surgery. The Rebbe said it's too late. Too late. When you stepped over the threshold, if you had emunah pshuta, a pure emunah, absolutely pure, that pure knowledge that from here you can get a bracha, that you don't need a surgery, then it would work. But once you came in and you didn't think that way, Elamai, now you hear it's Shanaran Gemish, it's already not pure emunah. Shanaran Gemish that you already heard that doesn't work. But had you come in with the pure emunah, that from here it could be healed, the Rebbe said it would have worked. But Rebbe shall help to attack all the 3 pshatim and v'yachid levavenu that we should experience, v'yachid that should be yichud. There should be unity between the nefesh alakis and nefesh abahamas. And the second is that v'yachid, v'yichud le'mokim, that we should the Eibusha should be our balabayis in our house. And it should be a lakus b'pshitus by us, and with all the upshots and all the nafkaminas that come out of that, and also v'yachid, that it should be clear to us that the Ava Yida should be a clear type of Ava Yida, not something that's mixed in with something else. And Memela, we should be able to have this type, all 3 these pshatim together.
What is ve'oer eneinu?
Our eyes should light up.
We see all the time. What's his light up? It's like it's a match. You have to light it up. The or eneinu. There's time that the eyes doesn't see. In other words, you could look on something and you don't see what really is. You see the fetzinis, you don't see the pneumius.
Exactly.
So ve'or eneinu, our eyes should be able to see a lokut.
Yeah.
Rabbi, v'yached,
Yeah.
Vav Yud Chet Dalet is 28. 2 and 8 is 10. If you make v'yached, you have the 10 sfirot. You be in the 10 sfirot.
Okay, the Yud itself is already 10 sfirot.
Okay.
Okay. So, let's do a few lines of the Mishnah and the Gemara, because this is the kviyas that we're learning tonight, Gemara. So open up the Gemara, Brachas Daf Tezayin Amud Aleph. So the Mishnah.
Good morning.
That the workers are allowed to read the Shema on the top of the tree, in the top of a line of bricks or rocks. But by Tefillah, they're not allowed to do it. Why? Zakrashi. Nidbach is binyan shalavonim kemoi nidbach in the Evangelal. So they're allowed to read it. The Shema they're allowed to read on top of the tree, not Tefillah. Why? Zakrashi that slois rachmi by kavona that the Tefillah needs the person has to ask rachmanas from the Eibishter. The person has to have full kavona. Because they can't have kavana because they're nervous they'll fall. Then because they're scared they're not going to be able to machab. So why is different krishma of tefillah? What's different krishma tefillah? One of the simple pshat is, as we'll say later in the Gemara, krishma only needs kavana b'pasuk rishon or pasha rishon. So it's easier to machab for just a minute. Mashenk and tefillah is a longer thing. It's hard when he's nervous to be machavan. Another pshat that the Rishonim say that Neil says that Krishma you just have to see, you have to hear what you're saying, but tefillah it has to be rachmim v'tachanunim. Okay. Another pshat that teretz is that tefillah is the rabbanon fakert they're machazak because sometimes also chizuk l'devrei yosem shel Torah. The emphasis b'pashtus, you could say, we speak about this many times. Krishma, a person is standing in front of himself. Tefillah is standing in front of Melech Malach Malachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So, therefore, Krishma is makabel on himself El Malchus Shamayim. Even though it's an intense thing, but the kavanah is not so. It's not just a pachel. I mean, the person doesn't have to be medamian that he's standing in front of Melech Malach Malachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Mashenke by Tefillah, a person has to imagine that he's standing in front of Melech Malachim Malachim. So therefore, it requires a much deeper and stronger level of kavanah. And because the person on the tree is nervous, Shenkim, the level of kavanah that's required by Krishma, the nervousness is not gonna disturb it. Continue the Mishnah. Chosen potem Krishma ala l'rishayna vad mitzvah Shabbos. Chosen is doing a mitzvah, and Oisik when a mitzvah potem and a mitzvah. So therefore, he's potem from saying Shema. He's doing the mitzvah of. He's doing the mitzvah with his wife. So the male is potem. Why? So Pashtup Pshat is Rashi because he's busy thinking about this thing that the mitzvah he has to do. The Ram says he's nervous. Maybe she's not really a basula. Other pshatim, but upon him the chosen is nervous, and he's taught it in the mitzvah of the beila with a kala, and therefore he's part of from Krishma. And those days is basula nisas beim revi, so we give him 4 days until Matzah Shabbos. As long as he didn't do the beila. Once there's a beila, he's chayiv. Marsov isha. Then Gamliel got married. The Kodik Laila Rishon did read Shema the first night before the Beila. Amr Tamidim said to Madatona Rabbeinu, didn't you teach us Rebbe Shachosan Potem Krishma the Chosan's Potem Krishma? I'm not going to listen to you to be Mavatal and not to say Shema, because saying Shema is accepting the yoke of heaven, and I'm not going to not accept the yoke of heaven even for one moment. So Tosis Marsov Gamliel. Zokter Atois is Lavala Maisa Listru. The Kamash Malanim Godlu, Beter Batsma, Shochalis Kaben, Buroi Little as Hashem, it should be other. If he's the type of person that knows he's like Rabbi Gamliel, that he could be miskaven, then it's mutter for him to do it. But it sounds from Toisus that if he's not the type of person, then he's not allowed to do it. Okay, we'll leave it at this and we'll continue on this note in the Mitzvah next week. The Rebbe shall helfen that there should be take v'hoyer in b'sersecha v'davel libenim mitzvasecha, V'yachid levavenu la'ahavo liyida shemecha. Befrat, that now we're coming we're still in the days of Hashlama Matan Torah. Good. Shukayach everyone for joining us.
Good enough.
Rabbi. Thank you, Rabbi.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Rabbi Marsov?
Yeah.
I forgot the reason. That we don't say taft until Yud Bey Sivin. There's a reason. I forgot what it was.
Because the Jews that didn't bring the every Yid had to bring korbanos in the Beis Hamikdash, and they would bring it in the 7 days. In other words, that all these days the Yidden were bringing korbanos that are connected to Shavuos. So it's still like Shavuos. We're still Shavuos mode.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's really. You have some extra bunches. Now's the time to enjoy them.
Yeah.
And you can learn more Torah.
Whole ganze Welt in a tumult.
Yes. Everyone, please stay safe. David shall help them.
I wanted to thank you, Rabbi Marsov, for all the classes that you give up to us during these days of not going to the shul that much. And you always sacrifice your time when you have, I think, 8 kids, 8 little girls and stuff. It's
Thank
a
you.
very big.
Hold hands. We hold hands, and that's how we're going to pull through. It's Hashem.
Amen.
Should be
So I
gesund.
give you a lot of credit. I teach us a few classes a week here, like I did today. It felt so good. But you're doing this almost every single day. You have to figure out the time, what you're going to teach. Sometimes you're using the internet, giving them access to the writings. I know it takes a lot of work, and you're very, very bright, and you want to make sure you do it right. Hey, that rhymes. You're bright and you always do it right. I just wanted to thank you for everything you do, because it's a very positive thing. It brings us closer. It brings us closer to Hashem.
Yes. And bring us closer to each other.
That too. That's the most important thing. That's why we have the Torah, not the angels, because we're supposed to make that connection. The angels are just doing things because they don't have a choice. But we have the choice to do things.
Yep.
And that's why we can interconnect with each other.
Right.
Angelini, maybe you did the Ayom Yom from today.
Huh?
Maybe you read to us the Ayom Yom from today.
The Hayayim Yayim was very short today. I'm trying to remember what I could read it. I gotta go get my book. But I read it every single day. Chabad.org sends it to me every day. Now I start sneaking in a little bit of the Tanya,
Today
a little bit
special.
of the portion of the week. What?
Today is very, very special.
I don't remember what I read this morning.
Tell us, yeah, Shmulik.
I should read it to you in English or in Yiddish?
In English.
You could do both. For me, in English is good.
I'll finish tomorrow. The Alter Rebbe answered somebody who came to Yechidus. In the beginning of the year, we talk about B'yachad Levavenu, Yechidus, right? So one of the Chassidim came to Alter Rebbe in Yechidus. He told him the Jewish people look like they are like a candle. In order to make a candle, you need few things. First, you need a vessel.
Oh, I remember now. Yep, the candle has a vessel, it has a wick, it has the oil, and it has a light. And the light, and it moves the light, and it shuckles zich. That's why we shuckle zich too, a lot of times when we're davening.
But what's the idea of the chassid to do?
The chassid has to be shuckling all the time.
To light the candle, the spark.
The sparks are everywhere. We got to bring the sparks out and make sure the Mishagayim wake up and don't spark up the businesses.
I once heard from my father, Alav Shalom, was speaking a kibbutz, and he said, you go to the ocean, right? You take out a stone from the ocean, one stone from the ocean. That means that stone was underneath the water for many, many years, hundreds of years, right? And the same ocean, you take another stone from the same ocean. So these two stones right now, you came out of the ocean, and you go one next to the other, spark come out. How come?
All right.
You understand the question? The water was on top of this. The water was on top of this stone for so hundreds of years, right? But how come when he took it out from the water and he went one against the other, boom, spark come out? How is possible?
He froze. What happened here? We got frozen. Maze.
Where is your light?
Hold on. It's coming back on. Go to the light. Hey, what's happening here?
So the idea is that you have a spark in you. All you have to do is just get another Jew together and light it.
That's true.
No matter how much dust you have around, it doesn't make a difference how many years you'll be underneath the water. All you need to do is just go with another Yid. There's 2 Yidden, and then you see a spark. Okay? Have a good night.
Shkach. Good night.